Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. So, yesterday we started module 5. Hope you remember what we were discussing yesterday. I just gave an introduction to the operating system functions, then the goals of operating system, and then we just had an overview of the OS architecture. There were 3 levels in that architecture. The topmost level is the user application. Then there is the middle basic OS services, and then the underlying hardware. So the basic function of OS is to act as an interface between the user application and the underlying hardware. And for that, it provides certain services. And these were the services. These services we were explaining, I was discussing about these services like memory management, process management, time management, file system management, and IO system management. And most of these functions of OS, you have studied it in the subject operating system, and we are just going through it once again. So the basic OS services, it includes memory management, and I think we covered memory management in the last class, then process management and time management. So time management is necessary because every process should get an equal share of their time and in multi-processing systems. So it is usually achieved using interrupts. And this interrupt occurs every clock cycle. And during this clock cycle, the system clock gets updated. And so then along with that, there are many other processes happening in the system. And all these activities are managed by the OS. So I think we stopped with time management in the last class. Now, next we are going to another section. We have the processes. We are going to just go through what are the different types of processes running in the system. So there are processes in a system. They runs in 2 modes. There are 2 modes in which the processes in a system can execute. And the 2 modes are the user mode and supervisor mode. So any process running in the system has either of the 2 modes. That is, either it can run in user mode or it can be in the supervisor mode. Now, what are the privileges that a process gets when it runs in the user mode? That is, in user mode, the process is permitted to run and use only a subset of the functions and instructions in the OS. It is not allowed to access all the OS functions. It is permitted to access only a limited number of functions. And since these functions are solely for OS purposes, the user function processes cannot access or modify these functions. So there is protected access to memory by the functions. Any function running in the user mode, any process running in the user mode has protected access to these functions. And the area of the memory where the user process runs is called the user space. So and where the protected functions, like those processes that can access the protected memory space, is called the protected memory space. And it is called the protected memory space or the kernel space. So user processes usually run in user space, and the kernel processes run in the protected memory space or the kernel space. And these protected memory space, those processes running in the protected memory space or the kernel space, they are usually in the supervisor mode, and that is the kernel codes, the programs related to OS functions, solely to OS functions, they run in the kernel mode or the supervisor mode. And these codes run in the protected memory area, and they are permitted to write and read into the protected memory allowed for the OS functions. So only those functions which run in supervisor mode are allowed to access the protected memory space. Those processes that run in user mode are not allowed to access the protected memory space. So these are the 2 modes in which processes inside a system can run. That is, the processes can run either in user mode or in supervisor mode. So this is a general discussion about which you should know about the process, the modes in which a process runs. It can be either in user mode or in supervisor mode. And user mode, only user processes can run, all user processes run in user mode, and they are not allowed to access the protected memory space. Whereas kernel codes, the operating system codes, they run in supervisor mode and they are allowed to access protected memory space using system calls. Okay, is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Hello, is it clear to you? Okay, so there are two modes in which processes inside a system can run. Either it can be in user mode or in supervisor mode. All user processes run in user mode and they are not allowed to access protected memory space. Whereas all kernel functions or kernel code, operating system code, they run in the protected memory space, and the mode is supervisor mode. Okay. Now, the next function of OS is file system management. Everything, all these functions you had studied in detail in your operating system. Just we are going through an overview of this function. The file, now as you know, file is a collection of related information stored on the memory, or it can be on the secondary storage device. It could be a program. The file can be a program, or it can be a text file, or it can be an image, etc. Whatever file, we can distinguish these files from their extension, and so it can be a program or a text file or an image. Now, this file system management of kernel, it is responsible for what does this file system, what does the operating system do in this file system management? It is responsible for creation, deletion, and alteration of files, then creation, deletion, and alteration of directories, and saving files in the secondary storage memory, that is the hard disk, then providing automatic allocation of file space based on the amount of free space available. File system, and that is swapping of files into and out of memory, is done by the file system manager. Then providing a flexible naming. Now each files are given naming convention, and this gives all these are decided by the operating system. Different operating systems follow different naming conventions. So that is decided by the operating system. So these are the overall functions that file system management functions done by the OS. Next, the fifth one is I/O system management, input-output system. Everything that is connected to a device should work properly in a controlled manner. And I said that operating system acts as an interface between the system and the underlying hardware. So all hardware devices that are connected to a system should be properly managed by the operating system. And for that, you have the I/O system management services provided by the operating system or the kernel. The kernel is the main part or the core of the operating system that does all these functions. And the kernel is responsible for routing the request from different user applications. Suppose there are several applications trying to access the printer device, then it is the operating system that allocates this particular resource to the requesting processes in a timely manner, and this scheduling of these resources is also handled by the operating system. So the kernel is responsible for routing the I/O requests from different user applications to the appropriate I/O devices of the system, and this is done through a set of application program interface. As we have shown in the figure, the application programs interact with the kernel through a set of application program interfaces. Then there is the device manager of the kernel, which is responsible for handling all the I/O device related operations. And this happens through low-level system calls. Since it is directly connected to the hardware, there are certain low-level system calls implemented in a service called the device drivers. Device drivers are programs that helps us to communicate, helps the operating system to communicate with the hardware. So the device manager, there is a device manager in the operating system that is responsible for all these functions. And this device manager is responsible for loading and unloading of device drivers, then exchanging information and system-specific control signals to and from the device. Only if the device is ready, then the device will be able to accept data like printer. Only if the printer is ready, it can store data into its buffer. So to check whether the device is ready and whether it is whether the system can transfer data to the device, there should be some control signals exchanged between the operating system and the hardware device. So these functions, the checking operations are all done by the device manager. Okay. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. So there is a device manager to control IO devices, and the device manager program, it is controlled by the operating system, and that is how operating system help us to communicate with the underlying hardware devices. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Now the next function is secondary storage management. Secondary storage management, it includes the storage of files on disk. That is, for long-term storage, we need hard disk, and for this, proper management between the operating system and the secondary storage device is necessary, because sometimes we need to swap files from the secondary storage to main memory when a process requests it. So this management is done by these, is also done by the operating system. So the secondary management, storage management of the kernel, it is responsible for disk storage allocation, disk scheduling, and free disk space management. Disk scheduling algorithms and all you might have studied in operating system. So we are just going through the functions that are done by the OS. We are not going into the detailed scheduling algorithms here. We are just discussing about the functions that are done. Then the seventh function is protection system. That is, it deals with implementing security policies, like certain processes have certain restricted access, like you might have seen the file access permissions allotted, like the administrator standard, restricted, etc. And these access permissions are set in order to protect the system. So protection system is a part of operating system to protect its resources. So and it gives different access permissions for accessing the resources. Next is the interrupt handler. Interrupt handling is one main function of the kernel, and it provides certain interrupt handling mechanisms for external as well as internal interrupts. And we come to this function of interrupt handling for RTOS in detail in the next section. Okay, it provides a mechanism for external as well as internal interrupts generated by the system, and the interrupt handling mechanism for RTOS is different from that of normal operating system. So what are the interrupt handling mechanisms in RTOS is the main section that we will discuss in this next part. Okay, so these are the 8 main functions or 8 main services of the OS, and we had shown only 6 services in the figure, but you have to write all the 8 services. Okay, that is the main basic OS services or kernel services include memory management, process management, time management, file system management, input-output system management, and apart from that, we had discussed 3 more, that is secondary storage management, protection system, that is protecting the system by giving different access permissions, and then interrupt handling. So these are the main functions of or basic services provided by OS. So that was a university question. What are the basic functions or basic services of an OS? Okay, is it clear? Hello, is it clear to you? So you have one question in this section. What are the basic functions of an OS or the basic OS services? If you're writing it down, just note it in a paper or just mark it somewhere. This is an important question. What are the basic OS services? Okay. Next. This is a 3-mark or 4-mark question. It was a question surely asked, I think it was asked twice. Classification of kernel. What is a kernel? And what are the different types of kernel? As I said earlier, kernel is the core of the operating system. It has all the services that run in supervisor mode, and it controls all the system resources. So kernel is the core of the OS, or we can call it as the heart of the operating system. There are important functions that the operating system, these functions without which the system will never work. And such functionalities are put into the kernel, and they run in supervisor mode, and we call these functions as the core of the OS or the heart of the OS. And this kernel, it is responsible for managing the system resources, then communication among hardware and other system services. These are the main functions, that is managing the entire system resources. Let it be processor or a memory or any external devices, it manages the entire resources connected to the system, and also it communicates among hardware and other system services. Only through proper communication, proper functioning can be done. So this communication part is checked for by the kernel. So it acts as an abstraction layer between system resources and user application. The user application directly communicates with the kernel, and to satisfy the user request, the kernel performs some functions and returns the result to the user. And this internal processing, which is done by the kernel, it is not visible to us. So we call it as an abstraction layer. Only the external functionalities are visible. Only the output is visible to us. We are not bothered about the internal operations carried out by the kernel. So it acts as an abstraction layer between the system resources and user application. Be given a print function, that is you given a print, you take a document, you open a document and you give the print option, and we are not aware of what is going on internally, but anyway the printer works and you get the printout. So you are just using the functionalities and the underlying layer, what is going on underlying in the underlying layer is not visible to us. So this kernel, it is the kernel, it acts as an abstraction layer hiding all the entire details. Then it contains a set of system libraries and services. Using these libraries and services, it performs its functions. So this is about the kernel. It is the core of the OS or the heart of the OS, and it is responsible for these functions like managing system resources and communicating with hardware and other system services. Now it acts as an abstraction layer between the system resources and the user application. And also it contains a set of system libraries and services, because it is with the help of these codes that it helps us, it helps to communicate with the end user application and the system resources. So next we are going on to the classification of kernel. Kernels can be classified into 2 types, monolithic kernel and microkernel. So this was a question, differentiate between monolithic kernel and microkernel. That was the university question once asked. Differentiate between monolithic kernel and microkernel. So I think I've exceeded the time. Okay, so please say your attendance. Number 1. Okay, number 2. Number 2, Abhinav. Okay, number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Okay, number 11. Number 12, Pravina. Number 13. Number 14. Number 16. Midlaj. Number 16. Absent. Number 17.
മിസ് മൃദുലേന്റെ കറണ്ട് പോയിട്ടില്ലേ ഇപ്പോ?
Okay. Number 18. Number 20. 22. 23. ഇതിൽ ലാർജ് ഉണ്ടല്ലേ? 16 ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. Number 23 Sarga. 24 Shabna. 26 Saurabh. 26, okay. 27, 28, 29, 29, Vishnu P. Okay. 30, Amruta. 31, 32, Didina. 33, Harida. Number 33, Harida. Number 3. Okay, 33 Harida. Hello, 33 Harida absent ആണോ ഇന്ന്?
മിസ് ഹരിത പ്രസന്റ് ആണ്, പക്ഷെ നെറ്റ് ഇഷ്യൂ ആണ്, മെസ്സേജ് സെൻഡ് ആവുന്നില്ല.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you.